Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. There's been a little issue with the audio-video connection, but we worked out something. He's not able to connect online, but he will speak over phone, and I will run the slides from here. So today we have Dr. Saseendar, orthopedic surgeon in Apollo Muscat, and he'll be talking to us about work-related morbidities. Dr. Sasi is a very young, dynamic surgeon, and he's involved in editing a lot of journals. He's written, contributed to articles in several books as well. Welcome, Dr. Sasi.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Morning. So we can get started.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry there has been a delay and I could not connect online in video. But as sir said, we have arranged something. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet up with you all, and thank you, sir. Dr. Baswajit, a wonderful teacher and friend, been in touch since a long time in Chennai. Thank you for the opportunity. And I would like to, I hope I'm clear.
Yes, you're clear. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought being a varied doctor audience, I thought something which is possibly going to be useful for you. So I thought I will talk about work-related morbidities for doctors, the orthopedic aspects. So we'll go on with the discussion. So as I usually do, and there's a lot of talk about evidence-based medicine, so I thought I should search about the topic. I put up the keywords occupational hazards of physician, and quite a lot of articles, around 939. So I also searched in the web and found something which is eye-catching, something like this. Being a doctor itself is a health hazard, but I'm not exactly sure whether it's a health hazard for the patient or for the doctor. I don't exactly agree to this statement, but let's go on. We should agree to the fact that we do have some sort of hazard at work. That is because you're all heroes doing something. So we do have some hazard. We should acknowledge them so that we go ahead and sort of prevent them or treat them. Okay, so here is a report, a good report from Canada on this review of occupational hazards faced by physicians. They categorize the hazards into biological, chemical, physical, next sir, psychosocial, and ergonomic. Previous slide, sir. So the biological hazards includes bloodborne pathogens, for example, a pathologist who is dealing with specimens, droplet-based pathogens, especially in a situation like this, COVID, or direct contact pathogens. Chemicals includes sterilization or disinfectant chemicals, gloves, PMMA, that is the orthopedic cement that we use during surgery. Physical hazards, radiation, laser, electrical, fall or assault either by a colleague or by a patient. That fortunately doesn't happen here in this country. Electrical hazards or noise hazards. Next, please. So psychosocial, yes, doctor have a risk of associating with psychosocial hazards, and that includes stress, sleep deprivation, violence at work, psychotropic drugs. We do have more access to psychotropic drugs, but fortunately things are in control in Oman, and self-investigation itself is a hazard. We may be messing up on certain things in self-investigation. Always prefer a colleague for consultation, not yourself. Okay, so we finally go on to the ergonomic hazards, which is what we are going to discuss about today. So it includes general ergonomic without any specific reasons that include neck, or upper back pain, or specific handling related issues. For example, you bend forward and try to help over a patient. You can have a disc related issue, or you can hurt yourself somewhere, you can hit against something, you can have a local injury. Repetitive movements can cause conditions like tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, or static prolonged postures, for example, in the operation room, can cause DVT or varicose veins, or neck pain or back pain again. So let us go into most of these things in slightly more detail, or ways to prevent them. Next, sir. There is another report on occupational health issues in UK doctors. Next. This was a questionnaire-based study on 77 consultant surgeons. They reported that 82% of the surgeons experienced pain while operating, and most of them were plastic surgeons, followed by general surgeons, ENT surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, and neurosurgeons. There was a direct link between use of accessories, namely microscopes, surgical loops, or head-mounted lights, with the association of pain, because there was something heavy on the head that was putting a lot of strain on the neck and the upper back. Next, please. So, to make it simple, let us discuss in two main heads. That is ergonomic hazards related to the outpatient department consultation, or ergonomic hazards related to the operation room. So, with relation to the outpatient consultation, mostly it is related to low back pain, most commonly, followed by neck pain, and then shoulder or lower neck pain, and then wrist pain, or sometimes it can have elbow pain, but elbow pain is not very common with our profession. Next, please. Okay, let us get into some more evidence. There is some evidence. There are certain studies they say sitting in any posture less than 70 degrees at your head is not good for your back. They target both the lower back and also the upper back or the neck. Okay, so if you see this picture, in the third picture, the neck is like straight, so it is resting on your upper body. In the rest of the remaining picture, that is the first and the second picture, the neck is forward tilted, which is our normal posture or normal tendency to forward project your head and neck. So that is not a good thing for the head and neck and the upper back as far as muscle fatigue is concerned. So what is it? An angle of almost 110 degree or above, up to 135 degrees. That is what is the best position for us to sit in prolonged duration. But can you think about sitting in this position for a long time, trying to work on your computer? It's not going to be possible. If you are sitting in this position without your computer, then it is fine. But with your computer, it's not going to happen, because when you try to work on the computer, you're going to slouch more on the forward. So that is going to put more strain on the neck and the upper back. So what is the consensus? We go back to sitting erect. So your hips should be all the way back. Don't cross your legs. If you cross your legs, there's again a lot of strain on your lower back, and the hip levels also don't have a purse, a heavy purse, especially if you're too rich. Don't have a heavy purse in your pant pockets. Remove everything, preferably nothing in your side pockets also. Sit erect and make sure your ears, your shoulders, and the hips are straight. You can see a line in this picture. The ears, the shoulders, and the hips are stacked in a straight line. You can call it a plumb line or just a straight line. Okay, next please. So there's some more information here. So again, your ears, your shoulders and your hips are stacked in a straight line, and in addition, your desktop or your computer has to be in a height such a way that it is just 20 degrees below your eye line. Okay? But a lot of times what happens is your desktop is not as high, and in addition, your elbow also should be slightly more than 90 degrees in position. It should not be less than 90 degrees. Next, please. What happens? A lot of times you're working with a laptop, so the laptop is lower, or your desktop itself is not as high as it's shown here. So you tend to keep watching down, and this is what happens. Finally, you start slouching forward and working on your laptop, and when you're engrossed in your work, and you forget about your health, and finally, when you complete your work, you end up in a lot of pain. Next, please. Okay, so now I have a few tips for you to improve your posture while sitting for long periods. That is equivalent to your outpatient clinic. First, chin tuck. It's a very simple thing, but personally, it has helped me a lot. Chin tuck itself is an exercise, but it should also be used as a posture training. So what exactly you do is, for example, you can do it straight away right now. Put your fingers on your chin and try to push your chin back. That means your head back. Okay? So you can understand how much you are normally projecting your head forward. That puts a lot of tension on your neck. Okay? So, and with your fingers, push your chin back and your head back, and try to maintain that posture all the time. Okay? This will keep your ears, shoulders, and hips in a straight line. If you are not doing chin tuck, it's definitely not in a straight line. This training will definitely reduce the amount of strain on your neck and upper back. Next, then you go on to stretching your shoulders. A lot of times what happens is you are sitting erect on your chair with your back rested on the seat, but your shoulders are drooping forward. Okay, so you see the middle picture. It's numbered 1, 2, and 3. It has to when you try to stretch your shoulders, it has to be in this order. Number 1 says pull up your shoulder. 2 is pull back your shoulder, and 3 is pull down your shoulder. Okay? Start with 1, 2, and go on to 3. From your resting position, pull up your shoulder, pull back your shoulder, and pull down your shoulder. That is the erect posture of your shoulders that you have to practice all the time. So first we have chin tuck, then you stretch your shoulders. Now stay in that position, don't cross your legs. Okay? Wait for some time, you will definitely feel far better with respect to your posture. Next, please. Keep moving. At least twice. Next, please. At least twice you have to get up from your posture every hour. It helps to sort of forget the wrong posture that you have been maintaining over the past 1 hour. It resets your body and the muscles and helps you to sit back, trying to get into the right posture. Next, please. Watch this angle. Supposedly, this angle is supposed to be very important. It's the angle projected by the thigh on the body. It should not be in 90 degrees or less than 90 degrees. Most of the time, you are sitting at 90 degrees. It should not be in 90 degrees. It should be more than 90 degrees. Okay? Why is that? Next, please. Okay, see the first image. When you are sitting with your hip at 90 degrees, the pelvis is actually tilted backwards. So what happens? The spine goes on to slouching or forward flexion. When there is forward flexion, automatically the lower neck goes into hyperextension and upper neck goes into forward flexion. Again, there is a lot of strain on your lower back, upper back, and also your neck and neck muscles. Okay, so this is not right. There are some commercial pillow sort of things like the sit and tie. I don't advocate that, but this is just an image. It helps you in sort of maintaining a more than 90-degree posture for your pelvis. So what happens? The pelvis goes into a relatively more erect position. So the spines also go into erect position, and there is less strain, supposedly less strain for the spine. Next, please. Don't dine on your table. One thing is, if you dine away from your table, it's going to give you some psychological stress relief, and also it's going to let you concentrate more on work when you're sitting on your table. So don't dine on your table. Exercise at your desk whenever it is possible. At least maybe 5 minutes and twice every day. Okay, next please. So what can you do on your table? One is shoulder roll. Just roll both your shoulders together in a clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. Arm stretches. Just stretch your arms, both your arms. You can do it along with me. You can stretch both your arms forward and also put one hand below your opposite shoulder and pull the elbow in order to stretch the armpit. Okay, and do the same. Stretch your hand forward and take one hand, for example, your left hand behind your right shoulder. Hold your left elbow with your right hand and stretch, pull it. Okay, pull it gently, such a way that you stretch your armpit. Okay, this is something that you can do. And then the legs. Sit up straight, stretch your legs on the knees, point your feet down, point your feet straight, okay, and then rotate your ankles. Sitting up straight on your chair, stretch your legs in the knees and in the ankle, point your feet straight or toes straight and rotate your ankles, okay. All this is going to stretch a lot of muscles and going to give you a lot of relief, and also is going to help you in forgetting the awkward posture that you have been sitting down with for a long time. Okay, and quit your job on weekends. Preferably don't do work on weekends. Whenever it is possible, go have your fun time, whichever you are comfortable with. It helps again in forgetting the awkward posture, learning something, and strengthening your muscles. Indirectly, it's going to strengthen your muscles and also your mind. Okay. And less frequent things, you can have some issues with your wrist and elbow. Mostly, tennis elbow is not a condition in our profession. I'm concerned more about the wrist. What I do is I move closer to the table with my forearms almost resting on the table and then working on the keyboard. It is not shown here. Yes, suppose think about the chair moving closer to the table. You can rest your forearms on the table and push the keyboard further forward, so you have more space for your hands and you can work on the keyboard. And preferably have a cushion mouse pad. There are mouse pads available with cushion for your thenar or the prominence of your hand. Okay, these help in preventing point pressure contact on your wrist. That will definitely help you in reducing your wrist pain. Okay, and if you have conditions related to your elbow, like tennis elbow, there are bands useful for that. If it is recent or if it is like for a long time, then you may get relief with physiotherapy and an orthopedic consultation. Okay, so we'll go on to the operation room related issues. What happens in the operation room is most of the time you're again pointing forward, looking forward, bending your neck. So this puts a lot of strain on the muscles on the neck and upper back. Next, please. So on the long term, there's 2 muscle strain, muscle imbalance, and this leads on to spinal degeneration, reduced mobility, and reduced output. Next, please. There is a very good research by Melzer et al. It's published in JAMA. It's very recent, published online in March. Next, please. What they have done is they have used a couple of sensors, one in the arm, one in the upper back, and one on the head. They use it for varied list of surgeons, and they try to understand the relation between the sensors and how the surgeon operates in relation to the position of the arm, position of the head and neck, and position of the upper back. Okay, so what they found is in the second part of the picture, that is B. What they found is majority of the time the surgeons were in the high risk position of the neck. The yellow and red point to a high risk position of the neck and high risk position of the upper back also. See the lower part of the B picture, the upper body is bent forward in a near awkward position. But unfortunately, when we are engrossed in our work, we don't tend to study ourselves. So a lot of times this is what happens. And the shoulder is also at a lot of times in uncomfortable position. That is beyond 45 degrees of abduction, 45 degrees of lifting up. Okay, these are uncomfortable positions. So what they found is 65% of the procedure time is spent at high risk neck position, followed by 30% for the upper back, that is torso, and 11% of the operation time is spent in high risk shoulder position. This is not at all good on the long run. Okay, for one day it's fine, but it always continues forever. So it's like 30 years or 40 years or 50 years of your service. So it's never going to be good for your body. Okay, and this postural neck risk was higher, most high in general surgeons, especially operating in open abdominal surgery. And it was increased directly with use of accessories like surgical loops, hand lamps, head lamps, etc. And if a surgeon reported pain after surgery, it was almost always associated with ergonomic risk, that is abnormal posture. Okay, so what do? There are certain tips again for what you can do in the operating room. One, make sure you are wearing something comfortable. Don't wear anything heavy. If possible, try to avoid these accessories on the head. Make sure your position is good and make sure the position of your surroundings is good in relation to you. You have to adjust either this or that in order to make sure you're standing upright relatively and you don't strain yourself. Next, please. It definitely takes a lot of conscious effort to correct yourself. There is more unlearning that you have to do than relearning, because most of us have been doing everything wrong. So it's not exactly easy to go and straight away write it. But you have to be prepared to unlearn it so that you can relearn the good posture again. Again, like we were discussing the sitting position, in the standing position, try to stand tall. Try to stand tall, and as I said earlier, position your shoulders. Like lift up your shoulders, pull back your shoulders, and pull down your shoulders. That is stretching of your shoulders. That's very good. Next, please. Strengthen your abdomen. It helps in maintaining your posture. Next, please. If you need it, as case in a case-to-case basis, if you need it, you can also use the ergonomic support, but please don't continue the support forever or for prolonged duration. Only if you have some issues with your back, you can make use of ergonomic support to prevent further increase in pain. Pain equates to abnormal biomechanics in your muscles. You can't keep tolerating your pain and straining the muscles. That is going to worsen the muscles further. So you can have a temporary period of support followed by therapy and getting back to normal. Next, please. You are definitely definitely allowed to do this in the operating room. Don't worry. But just make sure you inform your coworkers what you're trying to do. Otherwise, they can get scared. That try to stretch yourself in the operation room also in a sterile way as long, especially if you're doing a prolonged surgery. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much. I would like to take your feedback. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Sasi, for that informative thing. And I was hoping that we would get you on camera and then we could have people asking questions. So just to get the thing started, are you able to access the thing, Shashi? I thought you were seeing how I was changing the slides.
No, I was not seeing. Initially, I forgot that you are doing it. Okay. I thought I am doing it. So then I understood and I started saying next.
Right. Okay. We'll ask people to ask questions. In the meantime, I'd just like to ask you. Yeah. Normally as doctors, we are all worried about morbidity, mortality in patients. Why did you actually bring this to the table? Why is it important to talk about morbidity among doctors?
Yeah, one thing is being an orthopedician, having to address a larger doctor group. I was thinking about what most of us are facing. That is true. Most of us, possibly me also, we face certain issues at work almost every day. So, but we almost always tend to ignore it. But finally, even during the when it comes to treatment, when it comes to a stage that it actually requires treatment, also we don't have the time to do it. So, as far as the doctors are concerned, there is no treatment possible. It's always only prevention. So, this is something that everyone faces every day, whether it is clinician, physician, or a surgeon. So, I felt this is something that has to be addressed.
Right. So, do you think, since you state it as a problem, do you think it is a problem of awareness or is it a problem of not acknowledging it? Sometimes as doctors, we may be aware, but we may be ignoring it. And what do you think is the main issue?
I think both exist. One, a lot of times awareness is also a problem, but now that we have more and more programs like this, I think awareness is better than previously, but definitely the acknowledgement issue takes an upper hand. Either we don't want to acknowledge it or we are so engrossed in our work. We are more, doctors are like dealing with, it's an emotional job. It's not like a business. So we are concerned more about the patients. We are concerned how we are projecting ourselves to the patient, how we appear to the patient, what impression they take out of it. But a lot of times we ignore our own health. So in the short run, in a day, in 2 days, nothing is going to happen. But on the long run, it's going to take a lot of toll on us. That can give a lot of burnout. This is something which we need to acknowledge. No problem can be treated or corrected without acknowledging it. So, even I have had a bad posture. I think we have to acknowledge it so that we can start working on it.
Okay, there are a couple of questions from the audience. One of our gynecologist and OBG specialist, Dr. Jikme, she wants to know, do you have any specific recommendations for doctors who are pregnant?
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't cover that. Okay.
Maybe.
I would say
yeah.
You have to keep moving around more. I wouldn't say you have to keep walking around, but possibly more frequently. I would advise you to move around more frequently. And that would help in pumping the fluid from your legs into your system, preventing edema from your legs, and definitely taking some stress off from your tummy and also from your upper back also. I would say, if possible, don't sit down for a long time. And when sitting down, a small leg elevation is good. You can have your own small stool if possible, especially if you're in your later stages of your pregnancy. Not a too high one. You need not lift up your legs to full 90 degrees, but a small elevation could help if that is allowed as per your hospital norms. And even otherwise, when you are sitting down, in addition to the stretches, there is no contraindication to the stretches in the legs also during your pregnancy also. But in addition, try to keep pumping your calves. That means keep moving your ankle up and down. Okay, that sort of keeps pumping your calf. It will keep pushing the fluid up into your system. So I think that should help.
Also, I think most of the patients come with this kind of a complaint, like they have back pain and they want to, they're worried about what will happen when they're pregnant. So I almost always tell patients, you start preparing yourself by doing the exercises and things right away before your pregnancy.
Yeah,
and so then your pregnancy is comfortable. There's one more question from Dr. Lal. He's the anesthetist, and he says when you're working in front of the computer, you told about these stretches and the exercises that you do. How frequently should you do them?
Yeah. The stretches that I told you, at least twice a day you can do. That should not be insufficient. That should be good enough. At least twice a day, but there is no restriction for you to do. If you're doing more frequently, it's not going to harm you. You can go up to maybe 4 or 5 times a day, and every time it could be maybe a couple of minutes, maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes. But at least twice a day, minimum of twice a day should be good enough. And just related to the pregnancy, I wanted to point this also, especially if a pregnant surgeon is going to the theater, I would advise there are commercial supports for the tummy. I think they will definitely help to prevent the weight or strain during the procedure.
Right. Okay. Anybody else has questions? Please type them out, and then we can ask him. Let me just check the questions tab. You see, normally you do the presentation and I check the questions tab, but here I have to do the same thing. So,
I'm sorry.
No.
I just want anyone using that sitting cushion that I pointed out. I'm not using it. It's quite new to me also. The one I pointed out, like to increase the hip flex. To increase the hip angle. Has anyone had experience related to that?
Right. In the meantime, when they are typing in the responses, because I don't think anybody is coming on stage to ask questions, though they can. Dr. Shashiraj has a question. He's asking, what is your suggestion for using mobile phone, especially WhatsApp, etc.? What should be the posture when using the phone?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't want to show a picture here in the presentation, but unfortunately, I thought it was not related to the topic, so I didn't do it. So there is something called WhatsApp syndrome or mobile phone syndrome that happens because you're looking at your phone in the forward slouched position. So whatever position you are using to use your laptop, that should be the ideal position. Laptop or your computer, that should be the ideal position. You should be using your mobile phone also, no doubts about it. Okay? Whether it's concerned about your hips or your back or your neck or your hand, the same position the ideal position that I pointed out for using the laptop or the desktop, that should be the position that you use your phone. But unfortunately, it appears a bit cumbersome. I find that is what relieves a lot of strain on your upper back. In this generation, especially even in doctors, the pain and fatigue doesn't come from using the computer most often comes from using the mobile phone. I would advise you to lift up your phone all the way up like desktop level, and that should be the position you have to use it. Not on the table or down on your hip stand using it in that position.
Yeah, there are two, I think, solutions to that. One is you turn off notifications on your phone, especially WhatsApp and all. You should keep your group notifications under mute. There is a way to mute it. So if you mute it, you won't get the notification. It won't ping you, and you will not open your WhatsApp. That's primarily, I think, one important thing. The other thing is you can also, there are mobile stands available nowadays. You can keep the phone on a mobile stand. That way you don't have to, flex your head downwards to look at the phone, because then you can pick it up and keep it like a stand so that it's like a screen. There are also stands available for attaching it to the TV. I mean the computer screen when you're working on it. But I don't think that's ideal for a doctor, because you're actually primarily working on the system and looking at patients rather than in your phone. Okay, there's one more question by our Dr. Arun, who is the urologist. He says that whenever he's working long hours in the theater, he's getting cough pain, especially in the nighttime. So he's asking what could be the reason and what are the things to alleviate this kind of cough pain.
Okay. Now that you have a specific pain in your cough, I would strongly advise to have a sort of an assessment by an orthopaedician if possible. There are many reasons that could be giving you the pain, not only related.
That's double. Okay, 1 minute. We're trying to reconnect with Dr. Sasi. We lost him on the audio. I think Sasi? Hello? I think you've connected both on the TV, on the system and here. It's okay, isn't it? Okay, all right. Let me put him back on the speaker phone. Is the audio back? Yeah.
I think this. Yeah. Now it's better.
Yes. We are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
See, whenever the urologists start asking questions, no, then things go out of wrong. That's what Dr. Lal, who's an anesthetist, is saying. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So we were talking about posture in the car. So I would definitely say neck rest is definitely a good thing. It reminds you to rest your neck on the neck rest or the neck pillow. Avoids the forward slouch position. And the other thing is whether or not you need to use a lower back support, but that is a very subjective thing. If you feel some sort of a discomfort, you can't just take something like over the counter. You can't just buy one. You need to check whether it suits you. And again, it also depends on your body posture and the type of seat that is there in your car. The seats are very variable in many cars, so they can't have a straight answer, but the options are you can have a backrest, lower backrest, and a neck rest is definitely helpful. Try to remind yourself not to forward slouch and look into the road. Relax yourself, take a deep breath, do chin tuck, take your head all the way back, rest yourself on the neck support and drive.
Okay, I hope that answers your questions, Dr. Smita and Dr. Arun. Okay, Dr. Manjeet, who's the anesthetist in our theater, he's got a question for you. In OT, sitting stool should have backrest or not? Which is good? You see, normally the anesthetists have to do a lot of work giving spinal, epidural. They sit, and maybe sometimes they even sit and monitor the apparatus, Boyle's apparatus. So
yeah, I feel sitting stool should definitely have a backrest. If you're using any of these stools or chairs for a short while, that is 2 minutes to 5 minutes, it doesn't matter whether it has a backrest or not. But if you have to be in that position for a longer time, definitely a backrest is something that you definitely need.
Right. Okay. Excellent. I think that we are running out of time. That more or less winds up our thing. Any other questions anybody is having? Or you want to come on stage? I can put you on stage and you can ask directly. No, I think that more or less. So we'll, I think, wind this up. Thank you, Sasi, for giving us a wonderful lecture on posture. I saw a lot of responses about this being informative, so I think it was useful. Thank you again, and we'll end this here, and we'll meet up again, hopefully, for another webinar if this works out well.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. I apologize that, and I feel really bad that I could not see all of you, or I could not show my face. But I hope this was useful for all of you. I hope we meet up sometime again.
Certainly, this is a good reason to connect, bring you back to the stage again. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sashi. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Before we wind up, I'll just let you know that there are 2 questions there about the